just talked about the Formosan and the Northern Polynesian. I want to say here are two main things. First, when we say Formosan languages, we may have two things. All the Formosan languages spoken in Taiwan and in Orchid Island, there's only one language there, Yamei. And the second is excluding Yamei from the Formosan languages, so taking Formosan languages as a very restricted term. Yamei being considered as a Malayo-Polynesian language. So the structure, the grammatical system of Yamei is indeed quite different from what we see in the Formosan languages. And for example, when I worked on Yamei, it was more difficult for me to understand such a language. Second, Taiwan is considered the point of departure of the expansion of the Formosan languages. And this was shown by Robert Ross in 1985 and taken up by Bellwood from the archaeological point of view in 1991. And though there has been a lot of controversy about this point of view, I think that even the DNA calls for, we think that Taiwan was the point of expansion. I'm not going to talk about this today, but if you're interested, there's a lot of literature about it. So as I said, from a linguistic point of view, we believe there's only 15 languages, 44 dialects. And what we did in the handbook was at the very beginning, establish ourselves as linguists. So we said, we're not going to take the governmental classification as our classification. We don't agree with it. We believe that SEDAC, including Todak, Tugdaya, and Turuku, SEDAC is one language with 3 different dialects. Sakizaya is considered to be part of Amis, and we have Pazekahabu that we included into the book. And we also included one dormant language, Siraya, which has been well investigated, as well as Pabalang and Pasay, which are 2 of the extant languages for which we have documentation. I have to insist here that there was a Turuku speaker that graduated from Hawaii University in 2011, and she is now teaching in the eastern part of Taiwan in Hualien in Donghua University. And we have we have 3 linguists, only 1 at Haya, 2 SEDEC, so from these 2 different ethnic groups. We have similar books like the one we did. The Oceanic Languages was a book that was published in 2001, edited by John Lynch, Malcolm Ross, and Terry Crowley on the Oceanic Languages. And we have also, of course, the very big book by Robert Ross, about 900 pages on the Austronesian languages that covers everything from the institutions working on these languages to the historical linguistics part, syntax, morphology, everything. So this is a book also I recommend you read. And we have a translation of this book, but we don't have any book like the one we have on the real, studies, like the Formosan language handbook. So, but we have similar books like the Sino-Tibetan languages and the Handbook of Austroasiatic languages. These were books we referred to when we were starting working on this project. This handbook contains 660 chapters, 19 maps. It's about 2,100 pages, edited by the 3 of us. And as you are taking one of the volumes one after the other, you will see that there's a relative progression in the reading of each chapter. And but each of the chapters are actually self-contained and cross-referencing to each other. It's also available online, like an encyclopedia, but the online version might have some problems, some links sometimes that are not really correct. The handbook is divided into 3 main parts. The first is an introductory chapter presenting the introduction on the historiography of Formosan languages up to now. And we have divided this introduction into the Dutch and Spanish period, relating up to the Japanese period and the period following the martial law, that is until now. And we have also an overview of word lists and dictionaries, as well as a comprehensive chapter on the writing systems that have been adopted, and that there have been a lot of writing systems in Taiwan for the Formosan languages. Next, we have a second volume, which is the largest one. It's about 900 pages. It includes 35 chapters, and in there you can find anything on the Formosan languages, ranging from cross-linguistic studies, from phonetics and phonology. We have 5 chapters. We have the phonetics of all the Formosan languages as we can find them, a very detailed phonological studies, morphophonemic donations. We have 2 chapters on morphology, 1 chapter on morphology and another on reduplication, 14 chapters on syntax. We have also 2 chapters which discuss the contribution of Formosan languages to linguistic theories and models of sentence processing, as I have been starting with my student looking into psycholinguistics, willing to look into that. Then we have 5 chapters focusing on historical linguistics, and here we have the classification of Formosan languages, Proto-Austronesian phonology, Proto-Austronesian morphology, Proto-Austronesian lexicon, and grammaticalization. We have also a chapter concentrating on language contact, and also contact with the missionaries, what happened during the Qing and later on in the Bible, etc. Then we have also miscellaneous topics, numerals, taboos of feminism, metaphors, linguistic policies, and evaluation of such policies. And I was talking about the student that graduated from our university. She was the one that wrote the evaluation of linguistic policies, language policies. Then, the end of the book, the last volume contains 19 chapters, and each present a comprehensive sketch of the 15 extant languages, and 4 chapters dedicated to Langfeo, Basay, Papalang, and Silayat. The last three are completely the Basay and Papalang completely extant, and Silayat considered as dormant. So these writing of the chapters were facilitated by the fact that we have been working together many years before, working on different grammars, and each time for all the languages in Taiwan. So that's why I know how many people we are, and we can work quite fast if we want to. So we made considerable advances. I show you the people who have been working together for many years. We've been doing cross-linguistic studies, cross-dialectal studies, and we have also acquired the ways to do Proto-Austronesian reconstruction of the lexicon, phonology, and morphology. And we are developing new interdisciplinary research domains like computational, psycho, and neurolinguistic fields. We've been collaborating together at the national level and also at the international level on different things. And I think that the book will have a considerable impact on the phonetics, phonology, and morphosyntax of these languages. I show you pictures of things we did when we were doing fieldwork in parts of the Taiwan. So there's a couple of topics we didn't deal with. These are lexical categories. We had a chapter, but it was never, it was written down many times, but we could never agree to have it published. And we didn't have anything on colors, which is also a very interesting thing, I think. Kinship terms and neologism, and all these are more, not so much core linguistics, but maybe more going into ethno-linguistics. I'm particularly interested into the kinship terms. The Saisha, for example, have very developed kinship terms, and still they borrowed about 70 words from the Hakka. So that tells you how much they have been in contact with them. And they are the population that has the most, the biggest array of kinship terms. So I give you some examples here for Lukai, for example, when you see that there are at least 5 different forms for the word father, mother, and that's very funny how you use these different forms. And some of them are bound, some of them are free. And I had a lot of long time working on these. if you look at Tunan Magalukai, I mean, like here I gave the Tunan Rukai, but if you compare it with the other Rukai forms, you see that there are only two main forms, and the two main forms are quite the same. So that's also something I'm interested in. Neologisms also are very interesting because as we see the contact with Chinese and Taiwanese, Mandarin Chinese and Southern Min, and also sometimes Hakka, we see the formulation of new words, things appearing, sometimes asked by the government, and there's a lot of things there also to study. And that's the end of this talk.
We have time for one question. Okay, then we have a couple breaks in the afternoon, so you can, talk to Elizabeth. And I just want to pick up the opportunity to promote my book. Couple of books actually. This is the Ikema dictionary that Yuki Takubo and others and I published recently, the second version of Ikema dictionary. So I just pass this around. And this is basic Okinawan textbook co-authored with my colleague Rumiko Shinzato. This is, I think, is the first and only textbook written in English for Okinawan. So this is brand new, but it will be available soon. Okay, so I just pass it around and make sure that you'll turn back to me.